Welcome to the Big Circle with your host,
Derek Followell.
and I'm Ivy Heron Jr., and I'm feeling a little insecure about my comb over today, thanks to Derek.
Are you really?
Yeah, absolutely. What's the first thing you said when you came in here?
I said get that comb over under control.
Okay, point proven. Here, that's the best way to start.
Oh my goodness.
Give me the buzzer. I'm done. I'm shaving it off. I'm done with this. Wait till next week. Wait till next
shave
week.
your head.
I'm going to.
Megan's not going to
It's gonna look like my
allow
old
it.
mugshots. It'll be all right.
No, you can't do that. Megan's not going to allow it. Ooh, it got real quiet all of a sudden.
Okay, amen.
We found out who's wearing the pants in the family.
I'm shaving it.
Oh my goodness. How you been doing?
Man, I've been doing wonderful. How about you, Pastor? You feel refreshed?
I do.
Feel refreshed.
I did. I had
Yeah.
a good time on vacation.
Yep.
You did good while I was gone, and
You got back and I had a crisis. Crazy.
I wouldn't
how that
call
worked.
it a crisis.
No. I'm just a little dramatic.
Yeah. Are you enjoying the black coffee yet?
I'm drinking it. It's improvement.
It is improvement.
It's cheaper. It's better. Not better by any means. I'd rather have mine.
Oh, by the way, you told me to find you a fake Rolex while I was gone.
Didn't find it, did you? Didn't take the time.
Struggled. So do you have a real one on now?
Absolutely not.
Is it fake?
No. It's Michael Kors.
Oh, Michael Kors. Okay, it ain't no Rolex.
No,
How
absolutely
did we
not.
get on this subject?
I don't know, man, but I was really. Did
Well,
you even see them down there?
No. I seen some real ones.
You didn't buy me one of them?
No. They were very expensive. I was afraid I'd get back and be
I'll pay
like,
you back $24.
you wouldn't pay me
Okay,
back.
$24. That'd be fine. That's about the price of a fake one. I thought
Oh,
it'd be
that's
fine.
funny. I couldn't afford it. You can't afford a Rolex on a pastor's salary.
Crazy. Anyways, we start off all wild every time.
Yeah, we do.
What's wrong with us?
So today we're going to talk about fears.
Okay.
Real fear.
It just got real quiet.
I know,
Okay,
didn't it?
Awesome. I'm really excited.
I think so many times, man. I've been talking about this lately. It's really been on my mind. And we may get a little spiritual here for a second, but I mean this is just the truth of what's been on my mind. So I go back to the Garden of Eden, and I look at Adam, God. Adam's got God. God's got Adam. When God makes this statement, it's not good for man to be alone. Man wasn't alone. He had God.
Hey, that's a good point. Never thought of it like that.
So then he introduces another person. And then we see how important people are in our lives.
Yeah.
I think the reason that's there is because that other person, why we can relate to them and why we need them, is it doesn't make sense for God to understand my fear. But it makes sense for you to understand my fears.
Hold on, just repeat that one more time
So
for me.
it doesn't make sense. God don't understand my fear. God's not afraid. But you can understand my fears.
Yeah.
Because you have been afraid. As a matter of fact, we spent a good portion of our life trying to cover up the fact that we could be afraid.
Yes.
So today, I want to talk about a few things that we are afraid of,
Okay.
have been afraid of, could be afraid of, and how to kind of navigate that in our day-to-day lives.
Still could be afraid of. Yeah. Absolutely.
Correct. So I'll let you throw out the first fear. It may be a past fear or current fear. Doesn't matter. Let's just explore it.
Let's start with fear of never being enough.
Fear of never being enough.
That can be broke down into a lot of different terminologies, but what comes to my mind is fear of, and we talked about this, fear to living up to a certain name, fear to being unlovable, and I just talked to my wife about this not too long ago, but the fears that we have end up kind of start to damage the relationships that we have if we don't watch it. So the fears that I take home with me end up some days, wrongly so, going towards my wife.
Right.
So those fears, they bottle up and they bottle up. So the fear of...
Go to your wife because you're not going to go to work and tell your coworker
and be fearful.
that you have a fear of not being enough.
Absolutely.
You're not going to go to work and be like, Michael,
Yeah.
I have a fear of not being enough.
Correct.
So the person that gets to hear that or deal with it is...
My wife. Yes. So just to throw that out there for anybody that's struggling with that that takes those things home with them. Realize you're not the only one going through that struggle. We just got to learn how to navigate through it.
So when you don't communicate about not being enough, but it's an underlying fear, what actions do you have to try to compensate for not being enough?
Normally, I just kind of get mad and throw a fit for a minute, to be honest, which is not the correct way to do it. But what I tend to do now, I mean, routine, just going through the motions and just keep moving forward. I don't know what else to do. I'll throw a little temper tantrum. I get over it real quick, but say if it's me and my wife, she necessarily doesn't. Mm-hmm. And that's completely understandable. That's a 2 to 3 day week, 2 week process, because what's said, and you can't take that back. But, men and women are totally different. We can say something and be over it within the next couple hours and just want everything to be fine.
Right.
That's not how that works.
So newsflash to all of our listeners, and that we are not perfect, nor do we portray that we are. And we all go through some things and some difficulties. So in my past, where I've struggled when I had my fear of not being enough is like try to accomplish more, try to get my hands in more things. That way the appearance that I'm not inadequate would be visible, right? It's the cover-up. Yeah. Do whatever I can to make somebody believe I am enough.
Are you profiling me right now?
No.
It's
but
good,
truly that's what happens so many times in so many people's lives. And then it almost like you're living a cosplay. You're just trying to be something somebody else wants you to be.
Yeah, then you get into the people pleasing, and then you get into everything that don't even matter. Yeah, we're supposed to be a little bit concerned of what people think of us because our reputation, it talks about in the Word, how important that is. But we also have to have a healthy connection to that as well, not letting other people's opinions sway you from what you're doing in this very moment.
So let's talk about healthy achievement. Example in my own life. Obviously, when you're in the situation that I'm in life, there's a lot of people that I'm around, that I have influence over, that I enjoy spending time with. The problem is there's only so much time. Yeah. So then when, you're trying to connect all those dots, get everything done, that can be challenging at times. My fear is someone would feel like I don't want to be around them or, don't want to spend time with them. And sometimes I can spin myself too deeply trying to check all those boxes. Sure. And that can be difficult. Yeah, okay. So you have to be careful about trying to check all those boxes.
It could be a waste of time because time is not promised for tomorrow.
Yeah, so. Absolutely. So that fear of not enough, I would encourage all of our listeners today, if you're falling in that category or you've been in that category before, you're in it now, I would encourage you to don't spend your life trying to live up to someone else's expectation of you. Live up to your own expectations. Yep. Do the best that you can to set healthy ones of things that you can achieve. We've talked about this before. There's certain things in life that I'm just not going to achieve, and that's okay. Yep. That doesn't make me not enough. That makes me, this is my ceiling.
That makes you.
Yeah, everybody's got a ceiling.
Everybody's got a certain thing that they're extremely good at, that they're gifted with. Right. Learning to delegate in that makes the perfect team. Yep. Another good one, though, that we could talk about is, and it kind of falls into that same category, but the fear of failure. Mm-hmm. That's a driving factor for me. What do you think on that? The fear. There's so many different avenues you could go down that, whether that be business, relationships. There's just so many different things. What do you think?
I think for me, it's different from everybody and how they respond. Me, I'll tackle things with the attitude of, if you can do it, I can do it.
Absolutely.
Even if I don't have any knowledge in that space, the truth is, if you can do it, doesn't mean I can do it.
That's right.
But if I come into it with that attitude, it's almost like it's almost to kind of psych myself out to feel like I can accomplish, and that can be even unhealthy in itself.
Yeah.
Learning how to that healthy balance of being able to, as a man, say, you know what, I can't do that.
Yeah.
it's difficult.
It's hard.
You don't
Yeah.
want to say I can't do that.
Yeah.
So it's like, but I can't spend my whole life trying to do everything because
Yeah.
I can't do everything. I
right.
do not have time to do everything.
That's right.
You know, we've talked about this podcast. We wouldn't be doing this podcast if we didn't have Shelton and Austin.
Yep.
That were, I mean, me and you do not have the patience to
Goodness.
do whatever's been
This should have
done.
been done. This podcast would have been over with 10 minutes in the first episode. Without
Absolutely.
the people that are blessed to be a part of this. as
Absolutely.
well,
So as candid as I can be, I'll talk about one of my current fears. So one of my current fears is I hate things. I hate relationships ending. I never look at a relationship like it's just here for a time. I look at relationships like they're forever, right? But I've got so many examples in my life of relationships that have ended. I want to talk. We'll dig a little bit more into the fear of that, what that looks like. Maybe you can talk about what it looks like in your life, and we'll go on from there. But before we
Absolutely.
do that, we're going to hear from our good sponsors.
And a commercial break.
Yes.
This episode is brought to you by Sunroom. The house can get crowded, and if you need somewhere for family or friends to stay during the holidays, the Sunroom is a pet-friendly rental in Paragould with a top-rated Airbnb Superhost rating. Beautiful scenery, overlooking a nice pond, peaceful, relaxing, much better than a hotel.
Quality Voices is hiring now for daytime and nighttime shifts. They are a faith-based company that works on behalf of political endeavors and nonprofit organizations. You can fill out an application at 5510 Southwest Drive, Suite 4. They have great management, great family atmosphere, and a great environment. Quality Voices in Jonesboro, Arkansas.
Welcome back to the Big Circle. We're excited to be back.
You were like trying to start over again all of a sudden.
Absolutely.
So, back to what we're talking about. We're talking about fears, and my fear in the past of relationships ending. Now, I'm going to get a little deep here and just be candid with you, and it's going to sound, it probably sound a little bit weird, but I'm just going to be honest with you, okay?
All right.
So, like, I go back as far as being younger and making friends with people, like personal connections. I had a great friend that I went to school with before I changed schools. We were best buds. I changed schools. We kind of lose connection. I've seen him as a grown man. Went to his place of business, whatever. Just tried to reconnect with him. It just kind of didn't happen.
Yeah.
That relationship, for whatever reason, ended.
Right.
When I changed schools, I had another best friend. Man, we were great friends. He was the best man at my wedding, my first one. He was the best. We won't dig into that, but anyway, he was the best man at my wedding.
Yeah.
And man, we just kind of same deal. We kind of I moved away. We lost connection. Tried to reconnect with him again. It just didn't seem to happen. Like we couldn't connect. And so it's like that ends. I hate when something ends. I'm kind of more of a get in a boat with you forever type of guy.
Yeah.
And I just noticed that our culture and our world just doesn't think that way.
Kind of likes to write people off real quick when something's wrong.
They lack loyalty in friendship.
Yeah.
You know, and even in I was even having a conversation with someone today that I deeply care about. And, you know, even in that conversation, it was brought up that, you know, if these difficulties arise, that may be me separating from them. And I hate the sound of that.
Yeah.
You know, I don't do that in my marriage. My marriage is like, we don't talk about when it's not together.
Yeah.
Because we're always going to be together.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just like, that's one of the things. That's one of my biggest fears. It just kind of haunts me. It's like I have to not think about it because so many things just end. And I don't know how to stop that from happening. It's just like if you give grace, it's not enough. If you don't give grace, you're doing the wrong thing. You know, it's just like it just finds some way to dissolve itself and separate.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's just like me and you when we first met. You just told me the other day.
I didn't like you.
I didn't even know that, right? You know, you didn't like me,
yeah.
and you didn't like me because
Well, you stated a fact that just based on what was possibly true of my past, but I felt what I did was I failed to look at the second part of the conversation. The first part was addressed very realistic. I didn't like to hear honest truth at the time. That reflected on my past. But what I failed to recognize was the second part of the conversation saying, I don't care who you was at that time. What I care about is right now. But all I heard was the bad stuff.
Right.
At that point in my walk in my life.
Right. Could I have done something? Could I have approached that differently?
Nope.
Okay.
Not for me to grow.
I mean, we turned out, me and you are great friends, and
Yeah, for
God's
now.
blessed us. He didn't mean that.
Not at all.
But, you know, what a tragedy it would be if sometime 10 years from now we look back at the big circle and it's broken because
Yeah.
me and you aren't friends.
Yeah, or if I'd have took that to heart and I'd have just sat on that for years and years and years, been like, I'll never give him the chance because of what he said. And it wasn't
Yeah.
anything bad that you said. They were just honest facts.
Right.
But you followed up so well with that. But I didn't want to hear the first part and the truths about me.
Right.
I wanted to just hear that I was different, that I was reformed, that I was this guy now. I didn't want to
Right.
hear what I used to be. But instead, I took just that snippet of what you said and made it into something bad.
Right.
That's good you know that now.
Yeah.
Because I told you that for the first time the other day.
So if I'm entering a relationship in this forever deal, you know, that's the way I think in my mind. And I can go back and look back at examples. I mean, even Shelton's one of those examples. I remember when he left and went to New Jersey. You know, I just thought we'll always be connected.
Fix my comb over. real
Yeah,
quick. Okay.
I thought we'd always be connected, you know, and he wasn't here anymore. And it's just like, I hate that separation, you know. It's
Yeah.
just like, how do we just, the big circle, how do we just stay together? So you tell me, because I'm just thinking from my own brain. How does your brain work? How do you think about long-term relationships, friendships? Do you have them? Or are you trying to learn how to I don't know. You tell me.
Long-term relationships and friends has always been difficult for me just because I've never had them. 3 years was probably a max. And then after that, we just faded away, different lives. Things happened. And I just kind of pushed people to the side. Nowadays, I'm learning how to cope with that and learning how to build lasting relationships that are going to last for the rest of my life.
Right.
So in that, there is a process. If you're used to running, which I was a big runner in different ways, if you're used to running from your problems, running from certain things, when people disappoint you and you tend to run away instead of facing it head on, you got to learn just to keep moving forward. You're never going to have a relationship where you don't. If you have a relationship where you don't have a disagreement, there's probably something wrong in that relationship.
So have you found yourself in the past when you ran away from people that disappointed you, is you just ran right back into someone that disappointed you?
Yeah, absolutely. It was a revolving circle.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like learning that, you know, we can forgive each other, we can give grace, we can get through whatever difficulty that we have. Man, if I could get everybody in my circle to think that way,
Yeah.
man, that would be the biggest relief in my life because, man, there's nothing we can't get through, no challenge we can't overcome
Yeah.
to be who we need to be.
I hear a lot about this grace word, and for so much, we tend to throw that word out so much, but we forget to give it. We've been given grace so much, but we forget to give it back. Mm-hmm. I'm including myself big time on that. So break down grace.
Okay,
for
so
me
let's
real
talk
quick.
about that. I mean, we can use us as an example because we have us as an example.
Sure.
There's times that me and you are having a conversation, and one of the things that I've talked to you about over the last year or so is in the past you were quick to just, you know, forget them. Mm-hmm. You know, they did something, forget them.
I can do it by myself.
I'll
yeah.
do it without them. You know what I mean? And I've had to remind you over time that, look, people didn't think about you that way.
Yeah.
They gave you grace after grace after grace, and then when you were given the opportunity to give that same grace, you didn't want to give it.
Yeah.
Now I've watched as you start transforming, and you're not there. None of us are there.
Right.
But we realize when we don't give it and
Yeah.
we go back to try to give that grace,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a beautiful thing. Now where you're struggling is when you get ready to give that grace, you need that person to respond exactly
Immediately.
like you want them
Immediately.
to.
Yeah.
And I've been through that as well. But how do we remain friends, and how do we remain brothers in Christ? How do we remain who we are without the application of grace?
Yeah.
So it goes back to what we started with, is it's not good for man to be alone. We have to communicate with each other.
Absolutely.
And if we don't communicate with each other, we can't be
Yeah.
everything that we need to be.
That's right.
So, I mean, that is one of my fears. What's another fear you got?
I don't know. Man, I got a few of them, just like everybody does. Those are my two big ones.
Can I give you one?
Yeah, well, I mean, you're around me all the time. You should give me.
Your fear of someone's image of you.
That's a good one, but I will say that's improved
It has.
tremendously.
It has.
I'll never be able to wash away what some people think about me.
Yeah.
Knowing that, I can live with that. I can be okay with that. I know who I am today. That's a good feeling in itself, knowing that who I was is not who I am today.
So
I'm
tell me
confident in
what
that.
helped break that. Tell me what's getting you to that place, because I don't see that person as often now.
Yeah.
What has helped you overcome that?
Time and effort into communicating, effort into not giving up, because people never gave up on me. Looking back and seeing when I wasn't worth being invested in, people invested in me, and I'm right where I'm at because of people. And now I see more and more and more just from relationships that I've been able to build in the last year. The people, and everybody matters, so don't get what I'm saying twisted. But when I say the people that are saying these things about you in your past, that they don't matter, I don't mean it to that extent, but what I'm saying is they have no hold on your life and where you're going.
Right.
Because you speak, can you imagine? I mean, I always use this terminology. If our God can speak the whole world into existence, what can we do with our mouth? If we speak these things into existence, but we got to have people, and I've noticed that in my life, the ones that have said mean, hurtful things. At one time, that used to play a big part in my life, in my depression, everything else, and I'd just sit in it. I lay in it. Man, it did me no good. I'm going to keep moving forward. It doesn't matter what somebody says about me or their opinion, but that's you got to have a healthy care on people's opinion, because your name it does mean a lot, but it's not what you've done. It's who you are and who you're becoming. People can look in somebody's eyes and see what the true factor of that is and who that person's becoming, and they're going to invest more into you, more time, more efforts. And it's just an unbeatable force.
So here's to our listeners. Part of the reason why I asked those questions is Ivy couldn't have gave that answer a year ago.
No.
That answer was an answer of growth beyond measure. That was an awesome answer. I'm proud of you for that.
Thank
and I'm seeing the product and the fruit of who you're becoming. All right, we got to hit up another commercial, and we'll be back in just a few on the Big Circle.
J&M Trailer Sales and Service. J&M Trailer Sales and Service has a huge selection of trailers, trailer repair, and price is so low, it's stupid. Also, if you don't want to commit to buying a trailer or a piece of equipment, they rent it out as well. Trailers, car haulers, skid steers, and excavators. J&M Trailer Sales, located at 2510 South 2nd Avenue, Paragould, Arkansas.
Leisure Comfort. At Leisure Comfort Heat and Air, we provide friendly heating and air conditioning repairs done right. We repair all major brands and give reliable options to get your system working properly. In the unfortunate event that your new equipment is necessary, we can make the installation seamless and easy. We install all major brands, and with free estimates and flexible financing options, upgrading your HVAC system has never been easier. Whether you're looking for HVAC system repair, seasonal maintenance, new equipment, or general construction needs, our trained technicians will get you on the best path to enjoying a comfortable home environment. We're back.
Yeah, there we go. Let's just make this more awkward. I'm excited. Hey, it's never an awkward moment here at the Big Circle.
Yeah,
We're
but
excited.
by the way, great answer, man. That was a killer answer. I'm proud of your growth. I heard it. It's visible. It's audible.
Yeah, I had it in my notes since you like to prepare so
Get
many
out
notes.
of here.
I'm just kidding.
So we've got a few minutes left. So our last fear we want to talk about is a fear that me and you both struggle with.
Yep.
And that's the fear of not winning.
Yes.
The fear of losing.
Well, you walk into anywhere that we're at, you see stuff on the walls like conquer, tough times don't last, tough people do.
Right.
I mean, attitude matters. All this stuff, man, it relates into our personality and our mindset. Fear of not winning. I mean, we get on UFC and you hadn't cussed in 17 years, and I know you're probably thinking about it.
Not at all.
I'm kidding.
That's
that
a
was
lie.
a joke. That was a joke. But we're so competitive that like we'll stay on there
losing.
for hours
Yeah.
just so you'll get me 1 out of 24 times. But we'll get to that at a
Oh,
different
my
time. Can't wait to
goodness.
see you on tonight. But that's how we're built.
Yeah.
So, but you take that to a worldly standard, that can get dangerous.
Yeah.
That can get scary
Yeah.
at times.
Well, I mean, even before we hit record, Austin was talking about the fact that we were playing basketball, and I showed him into the fence. I don't remember that happening.
I've got a video to prove.
There
it.
was,
Oh, he's got a video.
oh, so there are witnesses.
That could be dangerous.
That's scary.
But yes, just you know, hey, I don't want to lose, and I think people that don't have that nature struggle to understand it. Like have you ever felt like somebody's just looking at you like you're just a loon because
Yeah.
you don't want to lose?
Well, they're seeing everything that you don't see.
Yeah.
I mean, really, they're looking at, and I don't mean this conceited or any means, but what they see is a winner.
Yeah.
And then we look in the mirror and we're like, we're not winning enough.
Yeah.
We're not doing enough. We're inadequate.
Yeah.
Even though we've done and we've accomplished a lot of good things, and
Yeah.
we're just getting started, we still don't see that.
I think everything that we go through is probably a shaper of all those things. I mean, you've talked about being in school and being bullied when you was young and all that. You know, I went through that same stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe it just did something to me psychologically that I just felt like I don't want to lose. Yeah. And some people just have that nature, you know, that's just they want to win, and it's just like you got to learn how to make that healthy. And there's times in my life I have to be as honest with you as I can.
can't,
As
man.
it's,
It's tough, man. I want to win at everything. It don't matter what. I don't even play like video games I used to because I know I suck at them.
Yeah.
Man. It's just, man,
Yeah.
it's just different, man.
well, I mean, even when we started this podcast, I mean, you know, at a couple times we had to say, hey, slow down a little bit. We don't have all the best cameras yet, and we
Yeah.
don't have the best whatever yet. And we got this.
We're thinking we're going to spend like
Table.
$100,000 to be able to come in here and do that. That's not possible. It's
Yeah.
not logical, and realizing that we'll grow from what we got, and it's going to be good regardless.
Yeah.
It's hard to accept though sometimes
Yeah,
because we want it
absolutely.
all. We want a finished product with a snap of the finger. That's how it
Yes,
goes.
absolutely.
We don't want to go. You know, here's another thing too. We talk about the promises, but we don't talk about the progress.
Yeah.
So we want the end result. We want the promise, but we forget that there's a process
Yeah.
in between that.
Absolutely. So we'll end. Before we end, we're gonna throw a challenge out there. So we've been talking about fear today. Hopefully, we can all put effort into being who we need to be in a healthy way and not letting fear overtake us. You know, we talked about this today, but perfect love cast out that fear. When I love myself properly, I love others properly. I don't have to live in fear. But maybe you could throw it up on the comments if you get a chance and you're commenting on this video. Just throw out some simple fear that you have, and not the fear, the deep stuff. Let's just talk about little fears. So,
Yeah.
Your fear. Did you say you're scared of snakes?
Snakes, absolutely.
Like
I mean, some
little
snake-
girl terrified, squeal,
a
scream.
water
right?
snake, whatever. It don't matter.
You
Absolutely.
too, Austin.
I ain't-
Even like
I
the
ain't
baby
going.
garter snakes, like the little green ones.
That's a water
Really?
moccasin. Absolutely.
Even them little toy ones. I mean, I'm just.
Oh, dude. Hey, let me tell you the best snake story.
Oh my gosh.
So
Really?
this really happened. This really happened. No, this is crazy good. We were going to the lake one time, and my grandmother had gave me $5. So we stop at Walmart, and I tell my dad, I was like, I got to go use the bathroom. So I sprint my tail off to get back to the toy section. I pick up a rubber snake. I go to the cash register, buy it, stuff it in my pocket, and get in the car.
Oh, you're a funny man then.
We're headed to the lake. So I slither this snake up on my mom's shoulder and just rest it right there. 30 minutes into the ride, like, I've done forgot about it. Terrorizing scream. Yeah! Snake! And Mom does this, and the snake flies. My dad's driving down the road trying to kick him.
Thank God y'all didn't have a wreck.
Oh, bro, I got beat when it.
You deserved it.
Dude, my dad was like, when he finally figured out it was a rubber snake, he was like, who did it? And I was like, Adam was like, him. I'm not kidding you. He's like, you could have killed everybody in the car, you idiot. So, yeah, that's a real deal.
Awesome.
So I was trying to think of something that I could, some simple fear that I would have. Mine would probably be super glue.
What?
I hate super glue. No, super glue, bro. It just, like, I feel like if I get it somewhere, it's going to get in my eyes and, like, glue my eyes up. Or
Are you okay?
yeah, you're running from a
didn't
little
know
snake.
You're worried about
He's
super
judging
glue.
me.
You're worried about super glue. Must have sniffed a bunch of it as a kid or something.
Yeah, so I don't want any super glue. Elmer's is about as high as I can go. We get into that tough stuff, I'm passing that off to somebody else.
Coffee cup next to it.
No, don't you dare.
That's great. I'm glad to know this.
We hope you've enjoyed this podcast on fear. We're going to do our best we can to overcome the things that have tried to overcome us over time. And we just really scratch the surface and talk about a few things. But we're never going to be the people we're called to be living in fear. So we're making a commitment to not do that.
Yeah, and just know you're not alone. And the fears and anxieties of this life that you deal with, we do it too. We
Absolutely.
deal with it too. We're human just like you. We're just better together.
Absolutely. I'm Derek Followell.
And I'm Ivy Heron Jr.
Thank you for joining us on The Big Circle. We'll see you soon.